Good morning, America. This is the CATS Roundtable, and this is John Catsimatidis. And it's Sunday morning. Lots of things happening. Um, the hurricane overseas. What's going on with our ships? With us this morning is Dr. William Parker. He was Chief of Staff to all surface operations for the Navy. And good morning, Dr. Parker. How are you this morning?
Mr. Catsimatidis, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Happy to be back on your show.
You were in command of some of those ships, and you've commanded ships like that. What's going on in the Pacific with all the problems? How can one of our ships run into another ship twice in 2 months?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, it's sad for the loss of the 17 sailors and the 2 capital ships that have been taken offline. We have the right equipment. We have the right training going on. The reality is that 30 years ago, you had 600 ships in the Navy, and you averaged on any day 100 of those underway operating. And then about 20 years ago, we went down to 450 ships, and we continued operating about 100 ships a day. Today, we have 286 ships, and we still average 100 ships underway a day. So with less than half the ships, we still operate the same amount of ships underway each day. So the strain on those ships and on the maintenance is significant. But that doesn't excuse the lack of focus on operating, navigating, and communicating. And so at the end of the day, the primary mission of that commanding officer and that ship is to make sure safe navigation. And quite frankly, the ships have the capability, they have the right training, they have the right equipment, and mistakes were made. Now, I don't know the details on John S. McCain yet, other than the impact was back on the port quarter. But Fitzgerald was certainly a crossing situation and not in accordance with the rules of the road.
Dr. Parker, you're also Chief Operating Officer of the East-West Institute, which is a international conflict prevention organization. And you're also an expert in the Middle East. What's going on in the Middle East? What's going on in Turkey with Erdogan?
Well, it's interesting what's going on with Turkey right now. So, of course, you had the coup attempt in July of last year, and then you had the referendum passed on 16 April of this year. That referendum changes Turkey significantly. It changes from the age of 25 to 18 who can run for office, and you don't have to have compulsory military service anymore. The parliament increased from 550 to 600 seats. The terms for parliamentarians changed from 4 to 5 years. The president now, if he makes a ruling to overrule that ruling, you need an absolute majority versus a simple majority. The president is now the head of state, where before he was he had to go through the parliament, and he had through the prime minister. The prime minister is no longer a position. The president can now appoint one or more of his vice presidents, and so there's a significant change in the powers over there. And there's a struggle. Now, the other side of it is when you look at the number of refugees that came in, that is an area that the Turks have done very, very well with. They've brought in 4 million refugees and a population of 80 million people. That's significant, and they've done a very good job with those refugees.
And, the average American is sitting around drinking their hot coffee on a Sunday morning. What does that mean? Is he going to continue to be friendly to the West? Is he continue to be a NATO country? Or is it converting more to a non-secular country, going back to religion?
I think the jury is still out on that second question of whether it will transition to a more non-secular country. Of course, it was founded by Ataturk as their leader, who was very secular. So we will see how that comes out. As far as the relationship with NATO, I believe that will continue to be strong. There are some strains right now, especially with Germans in particular. But overall, I think that relationship will continue to be strong. Remember that Turkey has the second largest military in NATO. So that's significant for us, not to mention their geographic location. As far as their relationship with the EU, for now that is on hold. There have been many votes in this particular issue, but I believe that you will not see them accede in the near future. As a matter of fact, on 24 November of last year, the European Parliament voted to suspend accession negotiations with Turkey over what they called human rights and rule of law concerns. So then in December of last year, the Council of European Union resolved that it would not open new areas in Turkey's membership. So basically that's on hold for right now. So again, NATO, I think, will continue to be strong, although maybe slightly strained. EU membership for them, I think, is going to be an issue. And then with the United States and Turkey, that's a relationship that continues to be worked hard. Is there a strain? Yes, there's a strain. But the good news is the talks are serious, and I think they will continue in the long term, and you will continue to have a good U.S.-Turkish relationship.
Now, President Trump, when he was in the Middle East, he met with over 50 Muslim countries. Now, what's Turkey's interrelationship with those countries? Are they all cooperating together?
They are not all cooperating together. You have a divide that continues to grow, a Sunni-Shia divide that continues to grow. You have economic ties with some that are not with others. But the bottom line is some of those Muslim countries are very close and other ones aren't. And Turkey will continue, I believe, to be an economic strength in that region, and that plays a significant part in addition to their military capability. And this is one area that I think Erdogan and his people, Mehmet Boston, who runs the Sovereign Wealth Fund over there, are working this very hard. And I think you'll continue to see a relatively strong Turkish economy in the years to come, although it certainly has taken a dip after the coup attempt and the referendum.
Let's move over to North Korea. A couple of days ago, I think Friday night, North Korea again attempted to launch another missile, but I understand it failed. Where do you think North Korea is going?
You know, whether or not North Korea continues to exist as a country under the Kim Jong-un regime is really up to North Korea in many ways. They have some decisions to make. China has bared down very hard on them recently in economic sanctions. The United States has put immense pressure, both from the international community and the U.S. community. And these guys want to continue to try to test missiles. It's a bad idea on their part. You know, I think you can see that the international community wants to use every instrument in their quiver before they go kinetic or any kind of military option. But I think military options are still on the table right now.